Hello and welcome to Theatre.Reviews with Paul Seven. I'm here at the Royal Court Theatre to see John Proctor is the Villain. It's set in rural America. It's about teenage girls in a high school. It lacks subtlety and it has a point to make and it makes it. You know, there are many reasons why I shouldn't like Kimberly Belflower's play John Proctor is the Villain. And yet, I loved it. Keep watching, and I'll tell you why. But first, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm Paul Seven Lewis, and for the last 8 years, I've been reviewing plays here on YouTube. The latest is John Proctor is the Villain at the Royal Court Theatre. Let's begin at the end. It's an uplifting, liberating finale for the girls whose world we have inhabited for the last couple of hours. If you're anything like me, it's probably a world you've scarcely encountered before. For women, their friendships, their passion and their early encounters with sex will likely resonate a bit more. This production photo shows the girls screaming with shock and delight at the word penis. But one of the play's defining strengths is the authenticity with which it draws these young women, compelling you to care about them, regardless of your age, gender or background. At the end, the previously mundane classroom lighting becomes a euphoric light show as the girls dance to Green Light by Lorde, defiantly in unison and unified behind the women of the Crucible. I admit I had a tear in my eye at the end. So where does it begin? Well, the year is 2018. We're in a pretty religious high school classroom in a one-stoplight town in Georgia. A class of 4 16 to 17-year-old girls and a couple of boys are studying Arthur Miller's The Crucible under the guidance of a charismatic teacher called Carter Smith. He's approachable, affable, and speaks their language. Unsurprisingly, they adore him. Momentous events unfold, but don't expect subtext and intricate layers. The girls are who they are, and they don't really change. They're not affected by internal transformation of the kind John Proctor undergoes in The Crucible, but the external circumstances that confront them. Now, what evolves is their perception of society, both their immediate environment and the wider world. The Me Too movement is at its most visible and influential. The girls, in fact, form a feminist group, and all is going well until Shelby returns after several months of unexplained absence. Tensions rise. Raylin is far from pleased. The two had been best friends until Raylin's boyfriend Lee cheated on her with Shelby, and Lee remains in the class. Oh, and Ivy is in a predicament because her father, whom she reveres, has had an affair with his secretary. As the girls read The Crucible through the prism of Me Too and their own lived experiences, they begin to recognise both the ways in which a male-dominated society seeks to diminish them, to shrink them, but they also begin to see the power inherent in their identity and friendship. To Mr. Smith, The Crucible's John Proctor is one of the great heroes of literature, admired for defying the witch trials, until Shelby prompts a re-evaluation. Does this married man's affair with a young servant, who he later calls a whore, make him less of a hero, more a villain? The subsequent discussion ends in a bombshell. The young women deliver remarkable performances. A standout is Sadie Soverall as the troubled but clever Shelby. Miya James brings a rare stillness and intensity to Raylin. Lauryn Ajufo as Nell, the girl who comes from a big city. Howden Gilchrist as the swot and teacher's pet, Beth. And Clare Hughes as the straight-laced Ivy are all names to watch out for in the future. Now, much credit is surely due to director Danya Taymor for eliciting such nuanced work. The other actors complete a formidable ensemble. Donal Finn is entirely convincing as the smiling, superficially charming teacher, he's a magnetic actor who seems ubiquitous at the moment, having appeared on stage in Hadestown and also be found currently on screen in The Other Bennet Sister and Young Sherlock. Charlie Borg makes the most of the smaller role of Lee, who I suppose represents that kind of sexist lad, and Reece Braddock as the naive but sympathetic Mason, and Molly McFadden as the inexperienced young counsellor, are both making their professional stage debuts, but you really wouldn't know it. The design by AMP featuring Teresa L Williams initially presents a naturalistic classroom complete with blackboard, fluorescent lights and daylight filtering through the windows. Yet appearances turn out to be deceptive. Natash Katz lighting isolates characters in moments of revelation, while the final sequence, which I've already mentioned, when the girls challenge the male hierarchy, plunges the room into chaos through jarring projections and a striking wash. You're watching Theatre Reviews with Paul Seven. Keep watching, and I'll tell you more about this joyous play, John Proctor is the Villain. We remain surrounded by stark examples of male toxicity. Figures such as Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein and Mohammed Al-Fayed are high-profile examples, but far too often in everyday life, those in positions of authority, teachers, fathers and other men, take advantage of women and girls. In a city near me, a number of teachers at a girls' school have recently been prosecuted for sexually abusing their students. Now, there may be an element of wish fulfillment in the rapid ideological awakening of these girls, and one of the boys, to feminism, and ordinarily I would resist a drama whose message feels so hammered home. But this joyous play is irresistible. The dialogue is authentic and often very funny, inviting us to laugh both with and at the girls, but it captures the angst and rapture, the confidence and vulnerability of that moment when they're standing on the brink of adulthood. Now, this year marks the 70th anniversary of the Royal Court Theatre, which in 1956 became the first British theatre to stage the Crucible. Now, while John Proctor is the Villain may not possess the same depth and complexity as Arthur Miller's masterpiece, it does offer something equally valuable, a thought-provoking and thoroughly enjoyable night at the theatre. I give John Proctor as the Villain 5 stars. I hope you enjoyed this review and found it useful. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe to this channel, then you'll be the first to know about my future reviews. And if you want to read my reviews and my roundups of other critics' reviews, including of John Proctor as the Villain, then go to my website, Theatre.Reviews. And you'll find me posting news of my reviews and roundups and other theatre news on various social media, including Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky and Instagram. Thank you for watching.